Sam needs the serum. I'm sorry, like, listen, I get it. He's trying to prove he doesn't need it, but Sam be toting it and like.
Yeah.
My name is Tory Rodney.
Go, yeah. Caught up all the troops. Gather round. Let me tell you now, I'm up in the blink if you want to get down. He was showing that money online a year ago, must have ran out.
What's up, guys? What's going on? I am back, and I'm here to talk about the new Captain America movie. Captain America: Brave New World. This is of course a Marvel movie, which I'm a big fan of, and this is also the fourth Captain America movie in the franchise. It really has some big shoes to fill. Winter Soldier and Civil War are some of the greatest comic book movies of all time. But let's get to it. The storyline in this takes place after the miniseries Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm gonna be honest, you just get straight to the point. I like this movie. I'm confused with a lot of the critics. I don't know why they dislike it. It's not the best Marvel movie, not by far. It's not as good as Civil War or the Winter Soldier. Let's talk about the positives. What I liked about this movie throughout the entire runtime is that this movie showed me that Sam Wilson is truly Cap. He's Captain America. I like the development of it because he's not perfect. He does not have the super soldier serum. And so that means he's not the strongest, he's not the fastest, but he tries and he works his ass off. And that's all he does. I like the development of it throughout the movie, that it really shows like he's struggling with the pressure of it, because it comes off as that he's still living in the shadow of Steve Rogers. And my fear is that even though that's a role right in the movie, that's also happening now right in real life. That's how fans feel. They don't know whether to take Sam serious because the character of Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, was so captivating. But he convinced me that he's Cap. He's truly just a leader of men who tries and works his ass off. And it's very relatable because he does have doubts, but he just keeps on going and going. And that's something what I truly just respect. Next thing to Harrison Ford, he now takes on the role of Thunderbolt Ross, who's now the president. The actor who played him, William Hurt, he passed away a few years ago. I'm a big fan of Harrison Ford. I didn't grow up watching him because he's been around just a little while, but I've watched most of his movies, of course. Han Solo, Indiana Jones, like, he's amazing. And in this, he's convincing as the president, as a war general. Next, I want to talk about the directing. So this movie really is being like, it was promoted as a spy thriller, and it truly was. Like, you could feel, you could just hear it. Even some of the shots, what they use, some of the angles, like they tried to bring that Winter Soldier feel back. And I'm grateful for it because I was like, okay, it's a bit more grounded, not as wacky or cosmic or just something what takes place with magic or space or superpowers and stuff like that. It's a bit more grounded here on Earth. And that's something what I truly just appreciated, and something Marvel has been missing for quite a while. So I'm grateful just to see it once again. So just some of the dialogue scenes, that it wasn't like too much cuts. Like, some scenes were just like long scenes were just two people talking, and so you more so focus on the action of it. There's not a lot of action right in this movie, but that's not a bad thing. I thought that was pretty cool just to fully get the characters more, spend more time with them. Another thing is the subtle social commentary. What I appreciated about this is that a part of Sam's struggles is, and I'm glad that the movie didn't really say it out loud, but you felt it. His struggles is that not only is he not Steve Rogers and he doesn't have the super soldier serum, he's black. He's black. Let's call it what it is. And his part of his struggle is that he has to be perfect. He has to be perfect. Like, there was one scene, not gonna spoil it, but there was one scene where Thunderbolt Ross pissed him off, and it sounded like he was talking like he was talking down to him. He didn't call him boy. Like, it wasn't nothing racist or anything and stuff like that. No, of course not. But it felt that way, so he was like, he called him son, and Sam walked out of the room, and he was like he stormed out. mind you, he's talking to the president now. He stormed down. He's like, "Who you calling son? Who you calling son? Like you trying to son me?" And then you know the line what they keep on using in the trailer, "You're not Steve Rogers." Like that would make somebody feel some type of way, you know? So I totally get it. And so now you have Sam, who's a black man, and you have the new Falcon, who I believe he has some Hispanic side in him. They just talk about the struggles. Talk about the struggles right there. It's like they got big shoes to fill, so they just gotta keep on growing. But I'm so grateful that they talk about that. It's not easy because none of them have the serum, of course, and they talk about the internal conflict they have as if they'll be good enough. And I'm so grateful for that commentary. But it wasn't preachy. I thought at times Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a bit preachy, like, okay, yes, bro, we get it. But this was more like, yes, this is more like, yeah, we get it now. So, and also the pacing. This movie is less than 2 hours. It gets straight to the point. I had no problem with this. I know it went through extensive reshoots because this movie was shot almost 2 years ago, and they've been trying to get the story right. So they cut down the runtime drastically. They got down the runtime drastically, but for what they managed to get or smash together in 2 hours, I think they did a decent job. I think they did a decent job. And lastly, the characters. I felt, I wouldn't say all, but most of the characters were pretty developed good. Sam, Danny, who's a new Falcon, President Ford, Ruth, the former Black Widow. Some of the villains, we'll get right into that. And also the character who plays Isaiah Bradley, who was one of the old Captain Americas back in the 50s. And he was just, well, not going to spoil it, but I like his character a lot. And you could see his struggle and his growth. So the character development in this was mostly on point. And that leads me into the negatives now. So one negative I have, like I say, this wasn't the worst Marvel movie. It's definitely not the best, but it's not bad. Like I totally would rewatch this. But I will say it's a very safe movie. It's very safe. It's not that consequential. The stakes seem high, but when you look back at it, it's like, it's probably not that big of a deal. But it's just a safe, generic Marvel movie at times. But if this were to come out in 2011 or 2010, the critics would totally love this. But I don't know if Marvel has set the standard so high. Because I'm like, it's a decent movie. It's not bad. I totally would rewatch it. But that's the criticism is like, I thought this would have lead us more into like where we're going direction-wise, especially with these Avenger movies, what are coming up, and I don't know where they're going. But it is what it is, but that's the only criticism. It felt a bit safe and generic. It didn't really move the needle. Next we have the villain, who I won't really spoil for you, but I'm like, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I see his plan, it made sense at first, but then I'm like it fell a bit flat, you know what I mean? But you gotta watch it, but that's the criticism right there. I wasn't too impressed by the villain. Another thing is that the CGI in this, man, woo! You could tell that they did reshoots, like some of the green screen shots in it. I'm like, yeah, this is a reshoot. Like you could tell two people are talking and you could tell that they didn't shoot this at the same time. So they're in separate rooms. Yeah, the greens, like the budget for this movie just has to be insane because like I heard that they shot this over a couple times. So yeah, the CGI in certain scenes just wasn't all that. And I wasn't impressed, especially for Marvel standard. And I do have a criticism that sometimes they be using a bit too damn much, but you know, whatever. Another criticism, the action scenes. So what made the Cap movie so good? What put Cap on another level? Winter Soldier and Civil War has some of the best action scenes ever, especially in comic book movies. Like the fight scenes in that with Steve, Natasha, Sam, Bucky, like some of the villains, like the action was on point in that. But the Russos were directing. The action in this was, you could tell that they brought in like a second unit director, and the director who directed this, he doesn't have a background in doing this, so you could tell that they just threw in some scenes. It wasn't bad, but it's like definitely I'll say probably some of Marvel's worst. And it's like, okay. But with that, just to comp that, that's why they spend more time on just focusing on the mystery and the dialogue. But yeah, the action scenes were pretty weak. And the last thing, and I'm gonna preach this. I don't like being preachy, but I will. Sam needs the serum. I'm sorry, like, listen, I get it. He's trying to prove he doesn't need it, but Sam be toting it. And like, even the fight at the end, which is not a spoiler, you can see it in the trailers, with the Hulk, I'm like, this dude is getting his ass beat. Now I like it because it makes it more realistic that he's just a human, but it's like, if you're about to lead the Avengers against whatever big threat is coming, like bro, like, and I don't want to do the Steve Rogers comparison, but bro, Steve was holding back a helicopter, bro. Steve, he was holding Thanos' hand for like 10 seconds, bro. Like bro, like you can't. Sam, please take the serum. I'm gonna find it more and more less believable and realistic that you could do this. Like, your benefit is that you can fly though, you have wings, but you need the serum, bro. Like, you be toting it, bro. Like I really just want you, like, I really want you to just be great, Sam. Like, seriously, take the serum. And with that, I'm gonna give my grade for Captain America: Brave New World. I'm gonna give it a B. Like, this is a solid movie. I think Marvel is going right in a good direction, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine. And next month, Daredevil is coming out. It's not the best Marvel movie, but these last few years, we've been having some bad Marvel projects, and this is better than them. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe these critics, maybe they're just looking for blood, or maybe, just like I said, a lot of people don't want to accept that there's a new Cap. There's a new Cap, and it's Sam Wilson. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely would rewatch it. I think the best part about it for me, why I would rewatch it, it's not too long. It is under 2 hours long. So that's pretty rewatchable. It's definitely not boring. So yeah, I just enjoyed it. So let me know what you think right in the comments. What's your favorite part about it? Why do you think the critics are going a bit too hard right on this? I don't know why. But let me get your thoughts and look out for my spoiler review. Thank you, guys.
I left all my chains at home. I'm still the baddest bitch around. I still pat that nigga out. No guns, I punch him in his mouth. Bout my green like the PGA. Know how we get.
My name is Tory Rodney.
Ain't on shit, can't wait to run them out. I'm trying to run up ends. I put that shit into my mama.